If you're enjoying Fan Storytime, please remember, subscribe, like, and share. Hello, and welcome back to Fan Storytime. This story was sent in by DeAngelo Dee. Thank you, DeAngelo, for submitting this to us. As always, I was given permission to tweak the story to make sure that it was appropriate for all ages and that it had a proper flow to be able to upload for your enjoyment. Thank you all for listening. Hi, my name is DeAngelo, and for as far back as I can remember, I've always had an interest in my own shadow. I remember the first day that it actually stuck out to me. I was riding a merry-go-round with my brothers and sisters in the park across from our house. This moment in my life sticks out just like it happened yesterday. I was enamored by this shadow. I tried catching it. I ran around. I would wiggle my arms. I would shake my legs. I would try and see if it was doing everything I would do. And of course it did, being my shadow. For months, my curiosity piqued my interest in these shadows. I started learning that multiple sources of light would sometimes give me multiple shadows. I would do them on walls. I would do them in my bedroom. I would try them anywhere I would go to make a shadow, day and night. As I got a little older into my teens, I actually was so infatuated with shadows that my nickname that I adopted was Shadow. People would go around, "Hey Shadow, what's up?" I guess it just kind of stuck. We grew up in a pretty rough neighborhood, so besides my siblings, I pretty much stayed to myself. The summer when I turned 16, I got my first job. I was a dishwasher for the local diner that was down the street. I worked the second shift because I had school during the day, and many nights I helped close. I didn't have a car, so I normally would walk to work. I didn't have a bike either. And at night, it's pretty dark on some of them streets because a lot of the street lights have been blown out by people throwing rocks or actually shooting at them. So after we closed and I would start walking home, I would always talk to my shadows. It got to the point where I would even give them names. I guess this gave me comfort and helped to make me not be scared walking home. Well, whatever it was, it worked because before you knew it, I would leave work and I would be home. Until one night, about 3 months into my job. I was taking the same route home that I always did that night, but all the lights were out on the streets. So it was kind of dark, and the shadows were only very, very dimly showing up on walls or the streets. I started hearing footsteps behind me, so I picked up my pace just a little bit. But as I picked up my pace, the pace of the footsteps picked up as well. I tilt my head to the left to look at the wall across the street to see if I could catch a shadow. I had learned to do this over the years to know if somebody was behind me because I could check the walls for shadows. Sure enough, there was a set of 2 shadows that were behind me. I keep going, and then I stop. The shadows stop. I turn around, and there's no one there. Yet the shadows are still casting on the wall across the street. I call out, "Hello, is there anyone there?" No response. Again, "Hello, you're kind of scaring me. Is there anyone there?" Nothing. The shadows stand still on the wall across the street. So I began to start walking again, slowly picking up my pace, every now and again looking to my left shoulder to see if the shadows were still following me. They were actually catching up with me. and before you knew it, they were almost side by side, parallel with my body. I can honestly say I wasn't frightened by the shadows. I was frightened at the thought that there were shadows with no other bodies. I was thinking in my head there had to be other light sources, and these must be my shadows. The problem is, they were not my shape. They were larger, almost menacing, but I felt a warmth, almost at ease, almost like these were protecting me on my last block to the house. As we approached the last alley on the street prior to my home, I hear some noise, and 3 guys come out of the alley. It was the local gangbangers. They knew me and I knew them, but that didn't mean anything because everyone looked at somebody that didn't join the gang as someone that they could prey on. I tried to move faster, but one of them grabbed me by my backpack and yanked me back towards them. Now that they had me in the dark alley with them, they started demanding for me to take off my backpack and empty my pockets. It's not like I had much of value on me. In my backpack, I had my Walkman with maybe 9 or 10 cassettes. And in my pockets, maybe a total of $2 or $3 and change. 2 of them were holding me up against the wall while the 3rd guy started digging through my backpack. I was scared, shaking, with a million things running through my mind. Were they going to hurt me? Were they going to try and kill me because I knew them? Or did they just figure the local kid from the neighborhood was going to take a beat down and robbery and move about his way? I was keeping my head down so they would think that I was not trying to directly look at them to identify them. And it was at this point, when I decided to do that I noticed these 2 shadow figures that were following me on the street, now projecting off the opposite side of the alley's wall. I stood frozen, staring at the wall, and it was at this point that the 2 guys that were holding me turned, obviously to look to see what I was staring at. At that very moment, these shadow figures reached out from the wall as if they were putting their hands around each of these guys' necks. They instantly let go of me and fell to their knees, reaching for their necks, choking and coughing. The guy that was going through my backpack looked up, saw what was happening, and immediately took off. At this point, I'm in utter shock. I don't know what to do. I'm still frozen on the other wall, unable to move, just watching and trying to understand and process exactly what I'm seeing. In utter disbelief, I watch as these shadows lift both of the other guys to their feet, usher them out of the alley. Once again, I had that calming feeling that came upon me when I first saw these shadows on the street. It was at this point that I realized, were they here to help me? Whatever it was, I feel that it saved my life that night. And this is my story, and I tell it often. I'm not ashamed to tell it because it happened and I witnessed it firsthand. And not only that, from that point on, it seemed that everybody in the neighborhood referred to me as the Voodoo Shadow Boy. And there we have it, folks. Another fan story time in the books. If you'd like to share your story, please hit me on my website and leave a message. You can email me, or you can also reach us through Instant Messenger. All these are available in the comments below. Have a great day.